let's just say it like this. You will gain more time than you ever believed by just following the simple steps, right? Just logging in once a day and going through the training and just doing that. Takes you 3 minutes, right? Changes everything.
Hey, I'm really loving Simpleology.
Can't even go into how much Simpleology will change your life.
Hi, I'm Kevin Payne, founder and trainer for Smaller Pop. If you want to give you a quick heads up on the whiteboard training, it's been absolutely fantastic in regards to the way that it's really made me make it a habit.
But above that, as you progress and you start to learn some of the new concepts and the new perspectives with which you should look at the things that you put on your plate, it changes the way you think. It changes the way you look at the world. The value of that is priceless.
Hi, my name is Kimmy, and I'm a proud Simpleology black belt.
Is altering your productivity in a very positive way in what I barely began using.
Hi, my name is Gordon Wong, and I just wanted to include some thoughts about Simpleology.
We're really ecstatic to this next year just really showcase how much the software sharpens my daily activities.
And it's just a habit of turning up every day, going through each of the sessions, each of the topics that it's getting me to do. My productivity increased already. It's only been 20 days, but I'm already hitting the farm all done, so I'm starting to realise the power of this tool. So I'm looking forward to the next belt.
There's just so much, man. I mean, in terms of team management, if you're using anything else, like there's all sorts of project management software out there. In my business, we tried many, and it's almost like too much. I don't know how to say it. The project management component of Simpleology blows everything else away.
Simpleology is an incredibly powerful system that not only walks you through the process, how to obtain whatever it is you desire, but clearly shows precisely where and how you fall short of the mark.
I am so grateful to Simpleology, a system that's truly changed my life.
It's really cool to be able to have a place to capture all those little, I should do this type of thoughts during the day, and then be able to put them out there into the dream catcher and just move on with my day.
And so to have this world that's incredibly intuitive and simple, you just log in and you do the training for the day, and it makes you more productive. And then to have these different components that allow you to work in tandem with other people in a way that's just so much better than anything else I've ever seen out there.
I use it every day without fail, and I just feel weird if I don't use it. It throws me off. So I start every day with start my day.
I'm utterly grateful for this opportunity to receive this distilled wisdom encoded through Simpleology, and I look forward to mastering the system.
Not only has the Simpleology system really increased my productivity and decreased my stress level,
And also to just having a list of items that include the things that I really need to do to move toward my goals. This really helps me to focus a lot, and just to get those things taken care of, and know that I'm making great progress toward my goals. So all in all, I enjoyed this first 3 weeks of training in Simpleology.
Well, it's one of those things where you're speechless. I mean, it'll change. If you want to get more out of yourself, then you owe it to yourself to get a trial account for Simpleology and just commit for you, just like I did, to have the patience to start your day with your day trading. You just do it once a day. And take it a day at a time and watch. Just watch what happens. You are not the same believer that I am right now. I will give you a reason.
But beyond that, I really feel like it created space in my brain by putting the triggers in place so I can be more creative, dream bigger, keep the big picture in mind, and really just never forget anything that I want to do, small or big, so that I can truly design my dream life.
You made the world better. And all people have to do is open their eyes and just look. Just see, right? And give themselves a chance.
I have been using Simpleology for years. I absolutely love it. I share it with everyone I know. It makes all the difference when I'm using it on a regular basis.
I can't express the profound impact that on me. And, I just am very grateful. So thank you so much.
So thank you, Simpleology. I'm forever grateful. Aloha.
And we are live. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ryan Healy and Mark Joyner, and welcome to the Simpleology Live tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about how will millionaires be made in 2026. Now, look, none of us are psychic. Nobody really knows. We're not going to get on here and say this is exactly how it's going to happen, because you just can't know that. But I've got an interesting hypothesis based on data, and I want to show you guys the data, and I want to show it to you visually. Before that, Ryan, what do you think, man? What if you had to guess how millionaires will be made in 2026? Imagine people who are shooting for their first million. How's that going to happen for folks in 2026?
It's a great question. If I knew the answer, maybe I'd be able to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I suspect that some people will do it with AI, and they'll leverage it in ways that help them to be more efficient, be more productive, whatever the case is. Kind of like adding fuel to a fire that already exists. So
Right.
Existing business owners leveraging AI to their advantage. I suspect there's probably another cohort who go into the trades and start
Right.
a business in the trades and do remarkably well, just because there are a lot of old guys getting out of the business and retiring.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the trades are, what's going to go first with automation, right?
Yeah.
We're probably not going to be replacing plumbers
No.
anytime soon. Yeah.
No. My son is apprenticing as a plumber right now. And
Oh, yeah.
and so I get to hear about some of the projects he's working on. I'm going, yeah, there's no way that there's just no way a robot's going to be doing this stuff anytime soon. So yeah.
Well, with robotics, it's possible, right? But it seems like there are some things that are on the docket to be taken away a little sooner. So let's take a look. So I asked multiple AIs this question. I said, hey, let's look at the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Let's find out. So take people who went from nothing to millionaire. How did that happen for them over the last 25 years? And what industries were they in? And has that changed over the years?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a little video here. And I did the best I could to vet this information from multiple sources. I'm going to play this video once. Then we'll probably have to go back and pause because it's really, really short and really quick. Okay, so let's see what this video has to say. Guys, check your sound. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so I don't want to blast your eardrums out. I'm just warning you, have your finger there on the volume key. If you got your headphones in, you might want to be ready to pull them out. But let's see. This might be a little loud. I apologize. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. So AI agrees with Ryan that AI is going to,
Hey,
right?
there we go.
So let's go back. A lot happened there in that video, right? Like this is, it wasn't as exciting in the beginning, but look at this, right? So if we go to the year 2000, number one was real estate, and then it was inheritance, stock market, tech startups, small business, corporate equity, e-commerce, and then you got creator economy, crypto, and AI and automation are at zero. But why are those on there? Because those things start to creep up, right? So
Yeah, they appear later.
they appear later. So if we go to 2001, doesn't really look like too much difference. 2002, a little bit of change, but we start seeing the inheritance and stock market stuff go down a little bit. And then e-com is kind of shooting up. And then suddenly inheritance is bigger than real estate in 2007. I don't know how that happened. There's got to be some demographic shift.
It's right at the beginning of the real estate crash, 2007 to 2009.
Okay, that very
a lot of people
good.
got wiped out. A lot of people made millions, and then I actually know some people who lost everything. They were millionaires from real estate, and then they lost it all.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's got to be a shocking experience in life.
Yeah.
And we see here that the creator economy and e-commerce start booming here, right?
Yep.
And then 2008, those are shifting. And then suddenly crypto, you got some crypto millionaires, 1% all the way back in 2010, which I don't know. Is that even possible? Because when was Bitcoin created? I don't even remember hearing about it until around 2009, I think.
I think it was 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Had to do something extraordinary with BTC back in 2010 to be a millionaire.
Seriously.
But okay, so we keep going, and then creator economy is booming, and then e-com displaces corporate equity. And then it keeps creeping up.
There's the real estate bounce post crash, because that lasted through 2013. Yeah.
Man, it's good you know this information. I was sitting there, man, I didn't know that. There's a lot of mystery on here, but that clears up a really big one. Okay, so then you notice AI and automation, 1% in 2014. And so this is way before so what I think what they're probably factoring in there was that there was a lot of AI before the ChatGPT million user moment, right? We had I think they're probably factoring in, people creating simple automation bots and things like that. That stuff was there back in 2014.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. So then crypto and the creator economy keep shifting up, and then tech startups displace real estate, which is very interesting for the 2018 period, because it does seem like there was a bit of a boom there. Ryan, you're old enough in the internet era to remember the crash, the original crash.
Mm-hmm.
Were you working online back in 2001?
No, I was not. I started online 2004. I was working at Merrill Lynch. Yeah, I was working at Merrill Lynch back then. So I was in the 401k business.
Okay, that's interesting. We got to have a conversation about that. I want to hear your thoughts about how that has shifted. Okay, so we see tech startups bounce up there. And now, okay, so see small business is way down here now in the number 9 position, which is interesting, right? Now, I don't know how they're distinguishing small business.
Yeah, I would assume like local brick and mortar, local service businesses, things like that. Because I was thinking like, well, I'm a small business owner, but wait, I was in e-commerce really.
Right.
You know,
Right.
maybe I'd be counted there, not small business.
Yeah. I'm curious how, when you say e-commerce, because this is very interesting evolution of that word. When
Yeah.
you say it, because there's a very specific thing that the millennials and the Gen Zers and all those guys say. When you say e-commerce, what do you think?
Well, I view it from an email marketing perspective. So I'm seeing it very narrowly.
Yeah.
But I think e-commerce as a term applies to all commerce on the internet, really.
Yes.
It's all commerce on the internet versus when I say e-commerce, like an e-commerce site, it's a specific style of website, usually a Shopify store or something like that.
Yeah.
No direct response copy, it's image driven.
Right. That's your view of that term is what the younger generation sees it as well. And I remember back in the the 90s and the early 2000s when we said e-commerce, it was just like, if you have a website that can take a transaction, that is all collectively e-commerce. But now people tend to mean like a physical product that you're shipping from a warehouse somewhere, right? As opposed to digital.
Yeah.
So here we go. So going forward, crypto's really up there now, right?
Yeah, it is.
13% in 2021. And then go ahead.
I bet a lot of these tech startups too. I bet a lot of the people who became millionaires did it through stock offerings.
Yeah.
Or reserve stock units, RSUs, where employees get paid. They get like quarterly stock distributions, things like that.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like some of these tech startups, I bet they got rich through the stock market, really.
I bet they did. What I should do is once we're done here tonight is go back and maybe we can generate some hard data about this. By the way, for those of you guys who are not watching this inside the Simpleology portal, we'll see some of your questions, but we're going to get, when we get to Q&A here, we're going to give priority to the questions that come in through the portal. So we may or may not take your questions if you're watching on Facebook or wherever. But if you come back, maybe, I don't know, maybe should we make this for only Simpleology members if we do a detailed report about this? Because these are really good questions. I would like to know, how are they defining the tech startups? Where did those tech startup guys make their money? Was it from, it probably wasn't, I made profit and I put it in my pocket and took it home.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there are only so many guys at the top making the big bucks.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think axiomatically what you're saying there has got to be true.
Yeah.
So AI and automation is down at the bottom in 2021, but let's see, how do we go from here to the number one position so rapidly, and what happens in between? So if we go to 2022, got a little bit of shift there. What happens there? So creator economy is going up. Crypto took a bit of a drop there. And crypto's going down more. And
it's probably the bear market.
So 2023, then small business all the way down there at the bottom in 2023. We got to find out, how are they defining that? And then, okay, so AI and automation by 2024 is really smoking right now. It's halfway up. It's the number 6 position. E-commerce still holding strong. Tech startups still at the top. See, where does tech startups end up? So if we go to 2025, okay, so because we're in 2026 now, so wow. So tech startups are still strong in 2025.
Real estate, stocks, those are still strong. E-commerce. Crypto is kind of related to stock market. I mean, it's,
right.
Similar idea.
Right.
I'm surprised. So the inheritance thing surprised me. I didn't really consider inheritance when you first asked the question, because I was thinking about what things you have control over, right? What things you can actually do.
Right.
Versus just a relative dying and leaving you some money. But the boomers, I think, inherited a lot from their parents as
Right.
their parents have passed on. I saw a headline the other day that said a lot of boomers are actually trying to not leave anything for their kids. They're trying to spend it all. They're trying to, yeah, just like this trend, like or they're leaving very little. Like they're not really big on leaving any sort of inheritance for their kids. I don't know how widespread that is, but I mean, it kind of fits with the data.
Right.
It just falling from like what it was, a number 2 in the beginning.
It was
1 at a point, and then now it's like 9.
Yeah. When you read about that, did they say anything about what the motivation was? Like, why are the boomers suddenly saying they don't want to leave their money for the kids?
I didn't read the article. I just suspect it's the psychology of boomers, like kind of the me generation, kind of focused.
Interesting. Right.
And I don't say that to say all boomers are bad or anything like that. There's plenty of generous boomers out there.
I'm Gen X, so I'm not offended.
Right? I'm Gen X as well. I was like the last year of Gen X. So
what year were you born?
79.
79. Okay. Wow. So that's the last year of Gen X. I guess I'm the beginning. I was 68. So
yeah.
Huh. Well, we're all collectively boomers to the younger generation, right?
I know, right? You complain about anything about young people. You're a boomer.
That's right.
Okay. Whatever.
That's right. It's the way to dismiss conversations now. Okay, boomer. Yeah. All right. So what do you think? So I guess the question is AI and automation is this going to be a safe bet for the future? I don't know if there's any way to argue against it.
It certainly seems like that's the dominant trend, right? And I think a lot of tech startup, I don't know how they're going to distinguish between tech startup and AI startup, because an AI startup is tech.
Yeah.
Right. So, the lines get blurred there, but it falls into either bucket, right? 1 or 2. I mean, both of those are doing really well. So, I think it's going to be a pretty strong trend for the next 5 years.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Yesterday, Claude released this Claude tag thing, and apparently a bunch of startups who were integrating with Claude are now just done for, because have you seen this one, Claude tag? They're releasing something new every 48 hours, but
no, but apparently, so it's actually hurting other businesses that have connected to Claude.
Yeah, it's the damnedest thing. So Claude tag is basically you go into Slack. So it's specifically designed for Slack. I imagine that's probably low hanging fruit, and there will probably be others as well. So they start with Slack, and you can just tag Claude in a Slack chat. And now they're pitching it as Claude is a member of your team, right? So you collaborate with your team inside Slack. How dare they? They should be on Simpleology, of course. And why Claude picks Slack over Simpleology? That I got to send a message to those guys. Like,
definitely
get with the times, people, right? So, but there were guys that did an integration with Claude and Slack, and that was the whole basis of it. And apparently, there are a bunch of guys that came out of the Y Combinator incubator, right? And now suddenly, boom, they're done, because they don't have a premise anymore.
Because basically, the Claude solved the same problem. So now, I saw that happen a lot with technology over the years. I had a friend. Do you remember? I think it was called Wishlist Member or something. It was like a membership site.
I don't remember that one.
No, I think it was Wishlist Member. Long story short is, whatever the software was, he became kind of an expert in it. And he was a programmer, and he started seeing deficiencies. And so he goes, well, I'm just going to program this plugin that solves this problem, that integrates with the software. And then I'll do this. I'll create this plugin. He did 5, 6, 7 plugins. I wrote the sales copy for him. We sold a good amount.
Yeah.
And then the software company just said, well, we'll just make it native. And they just took the idea and programmed it, and boom, there goes your business.
Yeah. I'm going to share a funny comment here. You probably know Matt Gill, very brilliant. He's making a call to something only us boomers would know. I think it's a Saturday Night Live skit. It was, making jokes about what would happen in the year 2000. I believe that's what Matt Gill, brilliant marketer, by the way. I'm sharing his comment because I know he's a Simpleology member as well. So some of you, yeah, you've got some other guys, Craig Meager, who's also a Simpleology member on LinkedIn. But for all of you guys watching, if you want to ask questions, you've got to do it through the Simpleology portal. And if you are not a Simpleology member, well, you got to go become one. And then we will take your questions more seriously. But I will take funny comments. If you got a funny comment, maybe we'll show it. So you'll get paid for being funny. So you're totally right about that trend. Apple has done that. Microsoft has done that. There are people that they created things for those platforms, and then the platform created the thing.
Yeah,
the thing was no longer necessary, right?
It's high risk, man. It's high risk.
It is really high risk, and I remember. So in 2019, when I released your roadmap to money in the 2020s, there were a lot. So people who were futurists like us, were predicting what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that was spoken about was that there would be inevitable consolidation.
Yep.
Like once you have an artificial superintelligence, how is it not going to just take over everything, right?
Mm.
I remember there was this great, I don't know how great it was, but there was a sci-fi movie. Which one was it? Judge Dredd. I might be misattributing that, but I think it was Judge Dredd. Somebody resurfaces in the future, and in the future, every restaurant is Taco Bell, right?
Oh, Demolition Man. Wasn't that
Demolition Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, good call. Yeah, everything's Taco Bell, right? So that's kind of a harbinger of the future for us, because how is it not going to be the case that everything is Claude or everything is chat or whichever platform takes over?
Mm.
It's very, very hard to predict, but we're not there yet. I think it's going to take a while, but things are happening very, very quickly. I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but Matt Basak and I are doing a webinar here. Those of you guys who are Simpleology members, you probably got an email about this, and we sent out an email saying red alert. And I'm not going to spoil, but there were some statements that came out in the last 48 hours that literally made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, related to this conversation. Again, I don't want to give any spoilers, so you guys got to show up on the webinar. The webinar is free. We'll see if we can dig up the link here. I don't know if I have it handy, but if before the end, I'll see if I can find the link, and we'll put it on here. It's a pretty simple URL. You guys can sign up for free and watch. But Matt and I will be talking about some extraordinary things that have happened in the last couple of days in the world of tech that speak to this. I don't know how related they are. Ryan, you and I in a private conversation in the last couple of days, we're talking about some other things that are we're a little concerned for what's going to happen in the next few months. A little different flavor, but it's interesting that all of these things are converging. Something seems to be happening. I feel like within the next few months, there will probably be some radical shifts. And I have some strong opinions about that, based in data, based in statements that have been issued by some pretty important authorities. So people that I know, so I used to work in the intelligence community, and some pretty serious people that don't issue warnings casually have issued some warnings. I'm not going to say what those are until the webinar, but man, it's a little spooky. So I hope all of you guys show up for that webinar. And with that, maybe we should take some questions here. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Here's a comment that ties in with what we just covered.
Mm.
From Martha Masad. She says, the Direct Selling Association and industry reports about 15 million millionaires have been created worldwide through network marketing. Wonder why that's not on the list. Millionaire or not, network marketing gives extra income you can't get from your job. And sales is a person to person. All of us are hitting the customer service robot on the phone. I don't know why. Maybe it's just not in the top 10. Wasn't it top 10 that you had there?
Let's see here. I'll put this back on the stage. I was getting that URL, and I'll throw that up
that's
here.
fine. Yeah, put that up there.
So, yeah, so go ahead.
I'm guessing that number 15 million millionaires is probably since like 1950 or something like that, versus like an annual number, right?
Right.
So I would suspect that's why it's probably just not in the top 10.
It's interesting. So 15 million millionaires have created through network marketing. Maybe. Right. So, well, if it's the Direct Selling Association. So Martha, remember the Direct Selling Association is that is their whole job is to pitch people on network marketing. Right. Like that's so I don't know, maybe, if any Direct Selling Association lawyers are watching this, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. Right. I'm just saying everybody who issues a statement, they have their own interest in mind. Of course, it's possible that any organization that supports a particular interest group is going to, be a little bit biased. It would be interesting to vet that number, right?
Yeah.
Side note on that, I started a few network marketing companies back in the day. I was the number one distributor, the fastest growing distributor for a few different network marketing companies. I don't do network marketing anymore at all. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And no offense to anybody who's in it, but well, first of all, I should probably ask you, man, like, do you have any feelings about network marketing? Do you have any experience with it?
I do. Yeah. I did Amway when I was 18.
Wow.
For a little while. That was the primary one. It was back when they were doing the whole, Quick Star is going to be the wave of the future. So they rebranded Amway to Quick Star.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have that anymore, but, ultimately, I came to the conclusion that it was not a great business model, which is, again, not to say that it can't work for some people or that it won't work. I mean, it does clearly work for some people, but specifically in the Amway model, one of the things that kind of opened my eyes was anybody who was making money in it. I don't know if these statistics are 100% accurate. It's just kind of giving you a flavor.
Yeah.
But like 3/4 of their income was coming from the book and tape of the month club. And only like 1/4 was coming from the sale of Amway products.
Right.
But the whole pitch is sell Amway products and make money. But if you actually looked how their income broke down, it was really just selling more people on personal development.
I'll tell you what, it really fits with what I've observed as well. The FTC went in there and started regulating it and saying like, hey, if you're doing network marketing, to make it not a pyramid scheme, you got to actually sell some products,
Yeah.
So it's funny, if you're inside of that stuff, they'll be like, they talk about it like it's this sort of necessary evil. Well, you got to make sure you sell some products, but what they pitch you on is just get 3 friends.
Right. The opportunity.
Yeah. And the first time I hung out with Gary Halbert live in Miami, I was moving out there. He and I started chatting on email. And the first time we sat down and had lunch, we just had such a great time. And we had a conversation about that specifically. And we both made the same observation. And that was that, so aside from the products that they're selling, how were they actually growing the business, right? And what they tell you is just recruit people. But the reality is the guys who are making money, at least from my observation, and from my personal experience, like I became the fastest growing distributor in like 3 different companies. And it was because I was one of the first people using the internet.
Yeah.
Because I had a massive email list and I'm just blasting people with, and it's easy for me to do. So Gary's his observation was, hey, all the people that I know that made money in network marketing were using direct marketing techniques. So it was like radio ads, like whatever different DM technique. Nobody was making the money through recruiting.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. My experience was similar with a different organization. I posted something online and ended up getting some sales through that. So it was really direct response marketing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another situation, this is not network marketing, but I put up a page on Squidoo. Remember Squidoo? That was Seth Godin's thing for a while.
It's a good idea.
What's that?
I think it was a good idea.
It was. It's gone now, but
yeah.
I put up this lens about silver, and then I linked out to an affiliate program. I signed up over 100 people to save their money in silver through this company. Crazy, but yeah, that's where you really hit, is you get scale is one to many.
Yeah, one to many, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. So, as a side note, what you did there on Squidoo, it's very interesting. There are like little gaps in the marketplace that show up every now and then, are little opportunities, especially online. And Squidoo probably represented some kind of an opportunity for a while there, like when it was still relevant, still getting traffic. Do you know when they shut it down?
I don't. It was a few years ago when I went like, hey, I wonder what happened to that page. And the whole site was gone.
Just gone. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, props to him for trying it. I mean, it was a very ambitious idea. And obviously it got, for a while there, it was getting enough traffic to make you some money.
Oh, 100%. I think that site did really well in search engines for a while. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Before the algorithm started doing the interesting things that they're doing now, it did make a lot of sense. And that was also before the internet was as mainstream as it is now, too. I think he came out with that, I think back in 2009 or 2010, something like
somewhere
that.
Around there.
Somewhere around there.
That's what I remember as well.
Pretty early. I don't know when it happened, but even before COVID, we got to a point where suddenly the internet is really mainstream. I mean, I think that the COVID forced people online a lot faster and people started taking internet business more seriously. But even before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting stuff. All right. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We've got, Martha had a follow-up. She said, I didn't see what year, but Amway started in the 50s, I think. I know several members in network marketing that are millionaires, or otherwise I would not have mentioned it. Right on, Martha. And no offense to you with my comment, my pushback on that. Most other millionaires I know inherited family business. A couple of people I know as millionaires did well in the stock market. Only know one real estate agent that became a multimillionaire, but know people that have done well in their own business. And yes, the tile guy in my country and the plumber live on the water on prime property. Good comments.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I actually do know a guy who inherited family money, and he's wealthy. And it was a family business.
And he's holding on to it?
No, I believe it was sold. That's how the family made their money.
Yeah.
And then he inherited a lot. Like I think over 10 million probably. So
that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ask because a lot of people who inherit their money or come into money suddenly, they can't hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really interesting observation there about like, hey, what does it take? So who was Jim Rohn, the guy that Anthony Robbins credits as his first mentor? Mm-hmm. Jim Rohn said, I recommend you all become a millionaire, not so you can have $1 million, but because of who you become along the way. Worst Jim Rohn invitation ever, probably. but that it's such a profound statement.
Yeah.
Right. It's who you become along the way. And the people who get the money, they don't do that.
Yeah. They didn't travel that path. Right.
but whatever people think of Trump, I remember before Trump even got into politics, and I know it's so controversial to even bring his name up. There are some people, if you say his name at all, it's like, how dare you even say his name? And it's like, settle down, settle down. I'm making an observation, right? So whatever one thinks about this, long before he got into politics, I was watching the show and I had mixed feelings about what do I think about this guy? And I started to find out that when his kids were very young, he wasn't just handing stuff to his kids, he was forcing them to get involved in the business. And it seems that all of his kids have become very industrious, right? That's not what you hear about most millionaire children, from what I understand.
Usually not. Yeah, usually not.
Yeah. Well,
Zia Sheikh has a question here.
Yep.
Sheikh or Shaikh, I'm not sure. If you had to start from zero today and go all in on one AI business model for the next few years, what would you pick? The one you think actually wins long term that most people are sleeping on. There are a lot of qualifications here. So wins long term, most people are sleeping on it. And ideally something that can be systemized and made fairly hands-off over time, not something that needs constant active work. So that's a lot of qualifications. One AI business model will work for the next few years, wins long-term, most people are sleeping on it, can be systematized so that it's hands-off. That's a tall order. Anything come to mind for you, Mark?
So, and other unicorns, right? It's like, I think that there are a lot of people who are kind of barking up the right tree with the agency business. I think we've probably got several years of agents. And by the way, most agencies that pop up all over the world are just, utterly fraudulent, right? It's like most of the marketing agencies out there. It's like some guy who says, well, I see some guy over there. He seems to be a guru and he's just talking and people are throwing money at him for talking about things and giving advice. And it's kind of like, I think there's a lot of money in brain surgery. I'm just going to throw up a shingle, and just, all right, come to me for brain surgery. And that's not too inapt metaphor for what a lot of the advice people get into. And the agency gold rush right now has got a lot of similar behavior in it, right? But that said, I think there's that behavior because there is a lot of money there, because just like in the early digital marketing years, before digital marketing was de rigueur, and I think there's still probably a lot of low-hanging fruit left just on that tree, there were a lot of people making money going to people offline that had no idea what was going on online. And it was like, hey, man, I can just do some Google Maps and simple stuff for you and help you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And those agencies were very, very prosperous, a lot of them. Right?
They were. You just get them on Google Maps, get a review system set up, get some local SEO going, just fundamental stuff that does require work and ongoing work, right? You've got to identify clients, pitch clients, close clients, and then fulfill.
Right.
But if you can do it systematically, you can have somebody on your team who fulfills on the service so that you don't have to do it. Or you may even be able to hire a sales guy who hunts people down. Well, the same thing applies for the AI business. And I was going to say the same thing as you, actually. Yes, it requires work, but at this stage in the game, I think there are a lot of companies who want to utilize AI in their businesses better. They want to use agents. They want to do this and that. And so if anybody listening can figure that out and, figure out a way, a systematic way of implementing AI in a certain kind of business where there's a need, they can target those businesses and then just like a stamp, just kind of provide the same service for each business. I would not advise being like a one-stop AI shop will do all things for all people, because
Right.
now you're trying to solve too many problems, and you're getting deep in the weeds on every single client. So
Yep. I think that's splendid advice, because the agencies that have a hard time tend to be the ones that try to be all things to everyone, and they're people pleasers. But
yeah,
the guys who are successful are like, well, can we systemize this, right? Which is,
yeah.
you know, Jerryman to Zia's question. Now, I would tell Zia I don't want to give away too much. I'm just going to kind of hint at what we're going to talk about on this Red Alert webinar. If you guys are curious about that, just go to fastestway.com/live. That's the webinar that Matt Basak and I are doing in a few days here. But I'll give you a little hint of part of it. This isn't the whole enchilada by any stretch of the imagination, but there was something that I talked about in your roadmap to money in the 2020s. And I said, hey, I'm a little concerned of what happens when you automate things too much, right?
Mhm.
What happens to humans? And I don't think I'm necessarily thinking of anything new here. Were you an H.G. Wells reader back in the day, or?
I have not. He's one author I've not read before.
You would find him particularly interesting because he was very much a technocrat for a long time. And if you read like The Shape of Things to Come, and that, you know, he was predicting a great, wonderful utopian future.
Okay.
And he's one of the people who were disillusioned of the sort of the perhaps false promise of technocracy, because he started selling World War I to people because he was like, hey man, it's the war to end all wars. And then after World War I was over, he was like, oh, I guess it wasn't.
I guess it wasn't the war.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And so the reason I bring him up is because in the book, The Time Machine, that he has this, so he has the main character go through different epochs of humanity, different potential futures. And one of them is they've got this species of subhumans that live underground and that really control things. And then you've got these sort of like lotus eating humans that are just like laying around in the grass and they've got everything provided for them. But then every now and then some of the people underground would like come up on land and snatch one of them off, and they would all be stunned and then go back to just lounging around in the grass. And I thought it was a wonderful metaphor for what would happen to people with a little too much automation, right? And I just want to say to Zia, like personally, my friend, if you're looking forward to that, to a future where you're just going to kind of lounge around and you don't have anything to be concerned about, might be the wrong target, right? And I think a lot of us, we look forward to this idea of retirement. We were sold this sort of like false promise of retirement throughout our lives. Hey, just work this number of years and then you hit your golden years and you can just kick back. And what happens to a lot of people when they retire is their body starts to atrophy. They get bored, they get lonely, they get desperate. And there are people who are like, well, I'm retired, I don't have to work, but I'm just going to go, you know, pack groceries because I'm bored. I need to do something.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you think, man? Do you think planning for a future where you can just kick back, is that the right target?
It's not the right target for me.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought about it a lot, and I need stuff to do. I'm an active person. I enjoy doing things. Would I enjoy a little more flexibility than I have today? Probably. But those days are coming, you know. And I'm saying this from a guy who has 6 children.
Yeah.
And, you know, 4 still living at home. One of them, the second, just moved out. So that's already starting to be a big change, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of structure in my life because of having a lot of children.
Only 6 kids and how many businesses? Such a underachiever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever personally retire. And maybe I'm projecting my own personality on everybody, but I kind of think for humans, it's really, I don't think it's the right thing to be shooting for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's probably an idea that may not be a wholesome and healthy idea.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Matt Basak came in and made a test comment. So Matt's poking around. We're going to be seeing him here pretty soon. Let's see. We've got another comment here on. This is a funny question here. This isn't a question, but this is Craig Meager. He's a longtime Simpleology user. He says, "I'm lifetime, Mark." But and then he made a comment about God bless Ted Nicholas direct response. It's kind of funny. Matt Basak and I were both really good friends with Ted Nicholas, and Matt has the in a storage facility, all of the old physical stuff that somehow ended up in Matt's possession because Matt was really close friends with Ted too.
Wow.
And I think Matt or Ted just, handed all that over. I think Matt needs to do something with that. If Matt's watching, Matt, we've got to let us help you sell that. I think we actually were the first company to publish for Ted Nicholas back in the day. One of the really fortunate things that happened was when I started the first ebook publishing company, I got the opportunity to be connected with a whole bunch of different direct response guys. And that's how I met Ted. We did the first publishing, digital publishing for Ted, for Brian Tracy, for a whole bunch of these guys. We even did some for Matthew Lesko, if you remember him.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Money from the government.
Money from the government. And he had, I don't know if you guys, some of you guys are not old enough to know this.
Question marks.
The question marks. Yeah. When I had the first conversation I ever had with him, I just remember being struck by the fact that this is such a mellow and calm guy. He's not like that personality on the infomercials at all.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. But Ted had an extraordinary publication, and this is, maybe I'm going to plant a seed in Matt's mind, because if Matt has the physical copies of this, Ted created, I think you would find this interesting if you haven't seen it. I don't think I have a physical copy of it anymore anywhere, but he had written so many ads over the years, and he apparently sold billions with a B of dollars of products and services with his ads. And he did a compendium of his best ads, and he ranked them from 1 star to 5 stars. And 1 star was an ad that was really, really good. 5 stars was just a, grand slam.
Grand slam, yeah.
Yeah, great ad. And I remember just pouring through that and just trying to see the difference between the ones that were 1 and 5 stars.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What a tremendous resource that was. I was physically at that warehouse when I visited Matt down in Alabama.
Oh yeah.
A few months ago, but I was looking for that, but we didn't open up enough boxes to find one. Yeah. Matt, if you're watching, we got to do it.
It's like a policeman hunting through old, file boxes, trying to.
That's right. That's right.
Find the right case file.
Did you ever see Silence of the Lambs? It was.
I did. Yeah, it was. I probably saw it at too young of an age, 8th grade.
My apologies. Yeah, 8th grade is probably altogether too young. I was in the Army when I watched it, and it scared all of us, right? But,
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of clues were in a storage facility there. All right,
Yeah.
that's probably a very grim side path. We've got one from Kurt Summers here. He says, AI makes it easier than ever to create products and content. What distinguishes the entrepreneurs who build lasting wealth from those who simply create more noise? It's a pretty profound question, really.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind is that assuming that somebody is using AI to create products and content, I think that might be the assumption here, is that you've got to include your experience and unique insights, in whatever it is you're selling. AI can't really replicate that for you. People want to hear from another person. They want to hear about your unique experiences, what you've learned from those experiences, and both your mistakes and your successes. They want to learn what not to do and what to do. So you've got to bring your experience. First, you got to have it, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, dude, I think you're so right on the money with that for a number of reasons. I think if we project ourselves into the future where all things are automated, and I mean, think about it, right? Like water is quasi socialism in most countries, right? Because it's so cheap, it's so automated, it's so systemized that you don't really think that much about the price of it, right? What happens when we have everything so systemized and so automated? Now, even though guys like you and me, we hear socialism, we know the history of it, and we're like, it's not such a good idea, right? But technology kind of changes the dynamics of that, right? So I don't know if the same negative outcomes are going to occur. We know historically that socialism sold everybody on the idea of everything's going to be equal, but then there was an inner party that was just as corrupt as any capitalist institution ever was.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're seeing in our state, and I think it's probably what happens in a lot of states, is they get bills passed for their pet projects, raise taxes, collect more money, and then what do they do with it? They give it out to an NGO, non-governmental organization, that then fulfills whatever the new pet project was supposed to do, but they do it as cheaply as possible, right? Because they're trying to maximize profit, and there's no real mandate usually for quality.
Yeah.
And so they do it as cheaply as possible. They make tons of money, and then a lot of that money goes right back to the politicians who gave them the contract. So it's essentially money laundering is what it amounts to.
Essentially money laundering. Yeah. And there are a lot of schemes like that are employed, that they're more and less sophisticated ways of laundering that money. It's going to be sorry, go ahead. And
anywhere, this is my heuristic or axiom, whatever, anywhere where there's a lot of money, there's a lot of fraud. The more money there is involved in something, the more fraud there will be.
Yes.
So if you look at where the most money is, usually that's at a governmental level, right? Because they've got a taxing authority on millions of people. So more money, more fraud. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know if I'm right, but it seems that way.
It seems axiomatically true, right? I mean, where are fraudsters going to go? They're going to go to where money is. And so, I guess it's easier to hide in large numbers, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, who knows what's going to happen at the ultimate end of it. But I think that there is probably going to be a period of time where the only thing that's going to matter is the human connection with people. Yep. If everything else is commoditized, where are you going to go, right? What are you going to do? I don't think AI is going to fill that hole in your soul, that everyone has. There are some things that might not be automatable, and it seems to me that there is something about us as humans that maybe can never be replicated by machinery. And I'll make a scientific argument for this. Okay. So whether or not somebody has the cosmology of whether they believe there's a higher power out there, we got people from all over the world watching, and you don't have to believe in that necessarily to entertain the notion that we cannot be perfectly replicated. So think about this, right? If you look at set theory, and if you understand that, if we think of the mind as a computer, all computing has to exist on some substrate somewhere. Now, I don't think that the substrate of the human intelligence is fully the brain. I don't believe that. I think that there is something external to us. And I don't think that's a crazy idea anymore. There are a lot of scientists saying that consciousness is not necessarily a brain local phenomenon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not brain local, it still must exist on some kind of a substrate somewhere, right? Be it spiritual, ethereal, whatever it is, interdimensional, who knows, right? But can it be possible that something that exists within a system can possibly host enough substrate to have enough computation power to understand everything within the system in which it exists? I don't know if I explained that properly.
I think I get what you're saying. Like, can a computer understand it's a computer? Like, including everything that goes into what it means to be a computer? Like,
that's right.
The case, the silica, the chips, the circuits. Yeah.
Right. And you could say, well, I could design all of those things on my computer, therefore it's not true. But it's like, nah, that's not really exactly right. Because the computer also stores all this data. And can the computer store all of the data to understand its own data and all of the meta stuff around that data? It breaks, right?
No.
And I think that is possibly a metaphor to help us understand, like, maybe there is something about who we are that AI can't possibly understand because it can't break down and understand all of the variables of our existence.
Yeah. Yeah, those are some deep thoughts, but I think you're on the right track. Yeah,
it's getting pretty deep, but I think I don't know, fingers crossed. I don't know. I don't know what kind of existence it will be like if AI replicates everything properly. Will that be a good existence?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a can of worms. It's a can of worms. All right. We've got, by the way, another Craig Meager comment here I wanted to throw up on the screen. He said, Ted said, don't ever retire. Find something you love to do. That's true. I remember Ted Nicholas saying that.
And I don't know who said it, but I've always lived by, like, create a life you don't want to escape from, you know?
Ooh. It's more eloquently put, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite of what we're all doing. I remember seeing a video the other day of somebody telling this parable of this the Mexican fisherman, and I'm going to try to. You know this one?
I do. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll do my best. I'll try to paraphrase it. I'll probably not do it justice, but so the Mexican fisherman is saying, he's talking to this traveler, and he's telling him about, hey, I catch a few fish, and then go home and cook some food and spend some time with my family, and then go out and have a few drinks with my friend and play music. And then I, wake up and do it again. And the traveler, the tourist said, well, why are you doing that? You should catch more fish. You should buy some fishing boats. You should automate this. I've got an MBA from Harvard, and I can show you can cut out the middleman and you can make millions of dollars. And the fisherman says, well, okay, so, why am I going to start this business? And, what's going to happen? And so once I make $1 million, what do I do? And he says, well, you can invest that money and live off the earnings. And okay, and I do that. And then what? He says, well, then you can retire to Mexico and catch a few fish in the morning and go home and have some meals with your family and go drink with your buddies. Right?
Yeah. Wait a second. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So maybe we got to figure out something that we're enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we've got a minute left. And for all of you guys who are Simpleology members, you've heard me and Ryan say this a bunch of times. We always end on this note. We're always making decisions about what we're doing at every moment of every day. And we're either going to do things that are making us stronger or making us weaker. They're going to bring us closer to what we want, whatever that is. We can philosophize about that, or further away from it. And over at Simpleology, we think all you got to do is really just keep it Simpleology, which means, take it easy. You don't have to do all the things right now. All you have to do is the next high impact, minimal effort thing in front of you. And you will find that it's much easier to do than you thought. You're probably putting it off, but all you got to do is take that next easy, simple step. And over time, that starts to compound, and you will get closer and closer to all of the things that you want to be, do, and have. And you will get stronger and stronger. And it's not as hard as you think. That's what Keeping It Simpleology is all about. And if you guys are not Simpleology members, go to simpleology.com and set up an account. And you can ask us more serious questions when you're a Simpleology member. We will take serious questions from guys who are Simpleology members. If you guys are watching on social media, we'll only take your questions if they're funny and entertaining. But with that, we'll wish everyone a beautiful day or night wherever you are. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care, guys.
See ya.